We're going live.
Something bespoke. Something.
Woo! We are live. Welcome back to another Basement Radio Arcade podcast. We got a great show for you guys tonight. We really do. We got a lot to talk about. I hope, first of all, I want to say I hope everyone's safe, staying at home, avoiding crowds, because let's practice some social distancing and just stay inside. You play some video games, right? It's been a great
Run around
month.
looking like a Power Ranger,
or you can go around looking like a Power Ranger if you want. Yeah,
I need some bananas and some maple syrup. I run to the grocery store dressed like the Green Ranger.
Oh my god! Oh my god! I'm sorry. I haven't left that on a long time. I've been stuck in my house for 7 days, man. And yeah, look. Anyhow, we got a great show. We got a lot to talk about. We have some delays. We got some more PS5 news. A little bit of inside Xbox to talk about. Epic Games Publishing. Epic Games is making some moves, by the way. They're going to be partnering with Remedy and some other developers in terms of publishing some games. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. But before we get to that, I just want to say, Battle Royale, 4K, Xbox hardware, PS5. It looks. I can't. That's my bad Richard Ledbetter impersonation, by the way. So, yeah,
Richard's
Forte.
Like, you don't sell the steak, you sell the sizzle.
On that note, guys, I want to introduce our special guest this evening. We have somebody who's been on the show before, and he's supposed to be on like last week, and I think the week before, and maybe the week before that.
He was dodging the corona.
Yeah, he was. But somebody I've been playing Warzone a lot with actually got him to play Warzone on PC, and he was like, "This is great.
It's unbelievable. It really is."
We have Mooch. Mooch, what's going on, man?
What is up, buddy? Great show tonight. You know, it's funny. You sent out the topics just a little bit ago, and I'm glad you sent those out because I'm sitting there and I'm like, of course, we're probably going to be on one or two of them for about an hour and a half. But I mean, there's a lot to talk about this week, and yeah, I got to be honest with you, man. I got Warzone fever. I know you shouldn't say fever, but it's a healthy fever if there is anything like that, and I just can't stop playing Warzone. I don't know when the last time I was this addicted to Call of Duty was. It has to be almost 10 years ago. So, yeah, we'll get into a little bit of that. But thanks for having me on the show tonight. It's going to be a great show. It's going to be great. Let's go.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? We have another returning guest. We have our resident Sony PlayStation retail representative. We're gonna go. We're gonna go by your pseudonym. We're gonna just call you Chrono. I know you've given your real name, but in case you want to drop some nuggets, wink, wink, on the podcast tonight, we're just gonna go by Chrono. So that way, because we know Sony's big sticklers when it comes to NDAs. No doubt. Like the mattress man, the mattress boys will show up at your house if you spill the beans.
The mattress.
Yeah, you'll be sleeping with the fishes, right?
What's up, guys?
Dude, welcome back, man. Hey, let me ask you, is Forte treating you well, man?
Well, you know what? I'll be very honest. I haven't had the chance to see him lately. Like everyone else,
that's right.
I am pretty much in lockdown. I have not visited any stores. Not that there are any stores technically open, but they've got us working from home as much as a retail rep can work from home, I guess. So.
Oh man, well, I tell you what, man. We got to pick your brain, Leonard, because I want to know what it's like for a PlayStation retail rep whose job is to really, you go out there and see your retail clients, check in on them, making sure that the Xbox marketing stuff's in the back of the store and the PlayStation 4 marketing stuff's in the front.
Small corner all the way in the back.
Exactly, because we know Forte.
Which I never have set up when he comes in.
Never. Ever. You made me work for my dollars.
You always got to fix my section.
I've got to work for my dollars every time I go in the Forte store.
I gotta stomp my Xbox dominance until he comes in the store and fixes it.
Forte's like, yo, Chrono's here. Everybody take the Xbox stuff down quick.
Look, man, it's a fight every day with my staff, man. They're half my staff PlayStation fans, so they be, don't we supposed to put this up? Nah, man, leave that shit down. Germany be here sometime this month.
Isn't Death Stranding releasing today, Forte? Nah, it got delayed. It got delayed.
That release date wrong. Next week.
Push
After the pandemic.
Push those Halo Infinite pre-orders.
What pre-orders?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
and
Right?
make sure you push the Game Pass cards. All right, push the cards. All right.
Push the cards.
Aren't those Xbox? Nah, man, they work on all systems.
They work on all systems. Oh, that's great, man. Without further ado, we got Gabe Forte. Forte, it's great to see you as always, sir.
Oh, what's up, man? Quarantine life is great. Other than when you have to go to work, but I've been just playing a bunch of Spider-Man, and I'm about done with that at this point. So, yeah, man, my PlayStation's been my best friend. Guess what? Who knew when you didn't play on one platform for so long, your backlog just gets so big that you just have so much to do? That's all I've been doing. That's all I've been doing. Who knew?
Who knew?
Who knew?
Who knew?
Who knew there was a life outside of a game called Destiny?
Who?
Didn't know that. Didn't know that. Now I know.
Yeah.
And Forte like stepping out into the sun for like the first
Man,
time in a long time.
I can see clearly now.
Oh my goodness.
Stepping out
I think slow-mo
Destiny for a minute.
Yeah, where is Slow-Mo, man? He late.
He'll be here soon. He's getting the kids to bed. You know how it is. And, without further ado, we got Eric Jackson, who his state of Florida didn't close the beaches down for whatever reason. Yeah, what's going on, Eve?
Wait, whose state opened the beaches back up?
Did they open the beaches back up?
Yeah, there was a state that was on the news that they literally opened the beaches back up.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what state that was.
They left the social distancing in place, but they opened the beaches.
Yeah.
I was like, what's going on?
Oh my!
What's going on? This country's going to hell.
Can I just? You know what? Have you guys seen that movie Idiocracy?
Yeah, it's the country.
I really think we're heading that. You know, I think we're heading that direction. I hate to say it, but Brondo has electrolytes.
We took B money today. What's up, B?
What's up, B?
What's going on, fellas?
What's up, man? Missed you, man. How you doing?
Hey, man, I'm good, man. Just trying to survive out here, man.
The only sunlight you getting is on the court at 2K right now, ain't it?
You know, I step out every now and again, man. You know, gotta re-up on the supplies, man. These kids eating through everything.
Bro, you saw me with the mask on Twitter. I was like, man, I gotta go hit this supply run.
Yeah, man.
You guys are out there like Joel in The Last of Us.
No, bro. We out here little braving these streets, man. It's bad out here, man. You know, waiting in. I was gonna put up a picture of me standing in line at Lowe's, and the line was like dumb long because they're literally social distancing inside the store. So it's like only 15 people allowed in the store at a time. So it's like literally 40 people standing outside, and I'm like taking pictures like I feel like I just contracted this shit standing in this long ass line.
I tell you what, Forte, I'd be out there parkouring inside Lowe's, man. They'd be like, what is this guy doing? I'd be like, hey man, I played video games. I know what I'm doing. Parkouring.
It's like 10 in the store at a time, and 9 of them need drywall cut. You're gonna be there forever.
Jesus.
It's like I just need some Elmer's glue, man. These dudes need
Man, I came out here.
No, they was literally telling people in line. They were like, "So while you're in line, we're just gonna let you know that we're out of a lot of the essential things that you need to run your life. We're out of Lysol, we're out of toilet paper, we're out of tissue, we're out of gloves. If you're looking for any of those things, there's no reason for you to stand in this line." I was like, "Damn, I just want to make a return. I wish I could. I wish I could go
that return
home.
can wait, man. I'm telling
No,
you.
it can't, man, because today was the last day that that Lowe's is doing returns, and we had bought a new. So you know things always go wrong in the middle of an apocalypse. So our dryer decided to want to play squeaky wheel with us and make all types of noises, and my wife wasn't having that. So we ended up buying a new dryer, and we had to end up buying the power cable for it. but ended up not needing it because we could use the one on the old one. So, I had to go out there and get my money back for this cable before they shut everything down and said that you can't return anything no more. So, yeah, that was the reason I was in Lowe's parking lot.
I told my wife she ordered some food from the store, and she's like, "Do you need anything, honey?" I said, "Yeah, I need some alcohol, not the drinking kind, the rubbing alcohol. I need bandages.
She needs both.
I need scissors."
Sounds right.
Yeah,
scissors.
Yeah.
She making a quilt?
No, man. You ever played The Last of Us?
I was just gonna say, you're making one of the Bob from The Last of Us.
Yeah.
Next thing you're gonna say, she need a bottle with a lighter.
Exactly.
I need like 3 boxes of gauze.
He's like, I need some nails, some gauze.
I need
Nails.
I need a $20 PSN card.
I need a flannel shirt and grow my beard out so I look like Joel.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Forte, that's when you need to mess with the people when they're at this and we're out of this and that. You say, "How are we on beach towels?" And like, what?
I'm here for the beach towels.
They're gonna be like, "Wrong store, sir. Aisle 15 at the aisle 15 at the store down the street called Target."
You hit the Bed Bath & Beyond.
Hey, no bullshit.
Beach towels and some sunscreen.
Yeah, exactly. Sir, can I get some sunscreen, please? I'm telling you, it's like it's crazy. Like before we went live, I was sharing a story with Mooch. Like there's people outside of the Safeway, which is a grocery store. Safeway's not in all parts of the country, but it's a grocery store. There's people like purposely coughing and sneezing on customers. Like what the fuck is like? I'm like, what is going on? What is wrong with people? I don't get it.
Man.
That's a license to get your ass whooped.
Yeah, I'm about to say they're trying to get stomped out.
Let me tell you something.
but do you want to put your hands on them though? Because
at that point, Forte, they cough at you.
At that point,
hey man, if you
risking my life.
If you sneeze on me, I'm gonna beat you to an inch of yours. I got you.
Yeah,
exactly.
There's gonna be a situation.
Well, you just gave it to me.
Yeah,
it's like that's terrorism at that point.
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm about to go Last of Us or Warzone multiplayer. It's not gonna be pretty.
Oh man.
Put these hands on.
Huh? Mooch, I'm gonna scream Battle Royale.
Battle Royale.
Look, man, all these people are getting it from the head of our country. All these people are idiots. They're all idiots.
I'm gonna scream time for little Archie Bargy.
Man.
All right, guys.
This ain't gonna end no time soon because the top of our government don't know how to run a government.
Yeah, it's a whole other conversation, sir.
I ain't said nothing about it, but it's
whole other conversation, sir. Whole other conversation. But you know what? I do want to talk about Warzone real quick because I gotta say I'm still really enjoying this game. Like it's got its
Is it because you're stuck in the house? Is it because you're stuck in the house and can't do nothing else?
Captive audience.
Is a captive audience because you're stuck in the house and that's all you can do?
I don't know. Mooch, what do you think it is? Is it because we're stuck in the house, or is it because?
I think it's a fine balance between. Listen, I've always loved Battle Royale. I mean, if you don't like Battle Royale, it's never going to be your jam, no matter what. But it's the fine balance between what was last year's Blackout, PUBG, and I think you take those two. PUBG is extremely, like it's a war simulator, right? So it's a little too. In depth, right? You hit your inventory button, 75,000 things come up. You know what I mean? It's even find like an old Chuck E. Cheese token in your pocket. What the hell is that? You guys are wondering. It's like you're just like, what's going on? Why do I have all this inventory with PUBG? It's too much. You're on the fly. You're getting shot at. You don't have to go through 75 scopes. The point of the matter is, you pick up the gun, you go. Right? The world is also massive. The 150 people in the game feels nice. And it's arcadey with that PUBG real simulator war feeling blended in. It's a perfect concoction. I mean, there's a little bit come into play here, probably with what Forte's saying, where we're all in the house and we're kind of looking for our escape. But I'll be honest with you, this could have. I've been in the house like everybody else. Guess what? I'm not playing Fortnite. That's not my bag. But I mean, this is a real nice mixture of, I think, what a lot of people wanted with that realistic simulator of war, at the same time have that arcadey feel. And I know that those are two things you're really not supposed to use in the same sentence, but they really did it. I really got to give Infinity Ward the credit there. They did an outstanding job of blending those two things that I think us as gamers, first-person shooter fans, really, really like. And it's fast, fluid movement as well. So once you're out, You don't sit there and wait for your friends while they're in a Jeep and you sit there. Oh, I'll be right back. I'll get a drink. Okay. No, you go right into the gulag. The minute you die, there's more action. There's more action maybe even before you were playing in the gulag. Right? So, I mean, you're instantly in. And when you're coming down, you're immediately going to go right into war again because when you come down, you got a pistol. Everybody's already been in the match for 10, 15 minutes. They've got an entire arsenal. You've got a pistol and a spitball. Right? So you got to come down there, right? You got to survive. You got to look for your friends. Where are you? What's happening? There's a lot going on. And I think that's what it does. It constantly keeps the player interactive and involved. And it really is. I mean, if you're not a fan of Battle Royale, this sales pitch does nothing for you. But if it's something you've actually said, I've always liked Battle Royale, just haven't found the one for me. Well, it's free on every platform. Check it out. I think a lot of people are digging it.
Yeah, I love what you just said. The combination of some of the PUBG elements, some of the and the Call of Duty elements, multiplayer, those multiplayer aspects of those two games. But they also did take some things from Apex Legends, like where you could mark certain items that your teammate might need and stuff like that. But it's hella fun. I mean, I do have to say it plays best on PC, but I'll leave that. I know what you want to say, Forte. Oh God. But
go ahead and get yourself in trouble again.
It plays great, man. 144 frames a second. I mean, it's nice.
Right.
It's nice.
But at this point, it's so easy to just make fun of Call of Duty. I mean, I think that's the reason why so many people are surprised that the game. I mean, I haven't had a chance to play it myself, but a game is good. A game is good. So many people, they make fun of it because it's Call of Duty and just like, it's Call of Duty. No, Call of Duty is as popular as it is because the series is actually good. Yeah. So I mean, people should just get in and enjoy it and don't focus on the fact that it's a Call of Duty game.
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, I have not been, a big Call of Duty fan in quite some time. I think I had a little bit of Call of Duty fatigue, but there is something to be said for that. That obviously it has immense popularity for a reason. It does what it does well, and games that don't do what they do well typically don't have that staying power or aren't popular over the course of period of time that they've been out for. So. But I'm enjoying it. B Money, Ejax. I don't know if it's your bag, Forte. I don't know if we get you off Destiny 2. But Chrono, if you're playing, you have played. Okay. Yeah, we got to get you on then, man.
Yep.
So, but guys, I want to move along here because there's been a lot of complaining about the lack of information coming out of Sony as it relates to the PlayStation 5. People have gone out and said Sony's, and this, Chrono, Sony's scared. It's not the same Sony. It's not the same Sony anymore. New leadership. They're dropping the ball. All that stuff. And then, lo and behold, they reveal what is called the PlayStation 5 controller, which is the Dual Sense. And I got to say, guys, this is a very sleek looking design. And I think what I was most impressed about it, and again, I do hope that this thing feels good in my hands. That's the other thing, right? It's got to feel good in the hands, right? That doesn't sound right for some reason, but anyhow,
no, it doesn't. But whatever.
You guys know what I mean, though. It's got to be it's got to be comfortable. You got to it's got to feel natural. It still doesn't sound right, but you get my point. Right. It does look a little bit bulkier than the DualShock 4. But I gotta say, the one thing that when I look at this controller, it looks like Sony, in terms from a design perspective, is really trying to push a true next generation machine. I'm not saying that Xbox Series X isn't next gen. I know people are going to get their panties in a bunch, but what are you talking about? Xbox Series X has 25,000 teraflops, speaks 30,000 languages, and blah, blah, blah. No, it's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that it looks like, from a design perspective, that Sony wants this console to look significantly different from the PlayStation 4 in terms of its form factor, and really look like a true next generation evolution type product. And I gotta say, the design, I thought, and I know some people don't like it, I like it. I think it's a sexy looking design. I like the fact that Forte's like,
No, I think a lot of people's opinions are being misunderstood.
Yeah,
I don't think people mind the design, because how could you mind the design when it kind of looks like an Xbox controller? If you like an Xbox controller, you'll like this one. I just have a problem with that freaking color palette that they used on it, which usually white and black looks good on everything. But when I saw it, I was like, what the hell is that? When I saw the all black version of it, I was like, if they actually make that, that's cool. Because I like the design of the controller, but I'm not with that two-tone color look that they got going on, looking like a stormtrooper that lost his pants. I don't know. I think that's what it was for most people.
I like the two-tone color because it's different. And it actually reminds me a little bit of what's the portable system that Sony had, the PSP?
Vita.
Or the Vita.
The Vita.
PSP and the
Vita, I'm sorry.
The buttons are like the Vita.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Definitely with that clear look to it. Yeah.
I mean, I see what you're saying for taking the two-tone color, but I also think maybe potentially we're so used to having that.
Well, two-tone color
solid
itself, there's nothing wrong with two-tone color itself. I'm just thinking when the version of the system I buy, I mean, like you said, we're just all conditioned to just single color palettes and stuff like that. There's nothing wrong. Like, that's a controller I would probably buy later on. Like, I've seen some mock-ups of some really cool color designs that I would buy as an extra controller other than just having the standard controller. I just think it was just the initial impression of when I saw it, I was like, nah, bro, that's not it. Not that color scheme. That's probably the color scheme that I probably wouldn't buy versus all the other ones that I did see. But that's just my opinion, and I think a lot of other people feel the same way. Because I don't think no one really doesn't like the design. The design itself is flawless. I love it. I just don't like that color palette. That color palette.
There's people out there losing their mind, saying it needs to be the analog sticks need to be asymmetrical.
Oh no, that's just a Sony thing at this point. I stopped complaining about that a long time ago.
Eric, it's science.
That's why I bought a Vantage 2 controller, though, so I ain't got to deal with that no more.
Yeah. Real quick,
somebody gave me a 7th grader's term paper on the whole subject. I'm like, okay.
Wow.
My thing is, and it was a gentleman in the chat, and also Forte just said it. I don't get when people are like, it looks like an Xbox controller. I think it looks the farthest thing from an Xbox controller.
Well, you know what, Mooch, I'm with you on that. The only thing
I mean, it looks like a flying saucer more than it looks like an Xbox. I don't see. My point is this. First of all, we're talking about controllers, right? Controllers are controllers. I personally,
most of them look the same.
Thank you. B, I agree with you. And my point is this, is that I have the Stadia controller in my hand right now. And the Stadia controller, if you've ever seen it, it absolutely is. It's, right? I told you, they ain't going away. Don't let the vocal minority on Twitter fool you. So my point being is that this looks just like the Pro controller, right? The Nintendo Pro controller. And it's very similar. The feel of it.
Best controller ever made, right there.
Well, I'm just saying the ergonomics feel the same. My point is this, right? So if that's fine, if people want to make that correlation, I'm okay with. I'll dance with you with that one. My point is this: is that Sony did something with this that's coming from someone who's been gaming as long as myself, and I think I will speak almost for everybody on the chat here because I know a lot of you guys have been gaming as long as I have. Is that one thing that you look forward to? Okay, when you go get a new console and you bring it home, is the design. And I said this on Crossfire. I'll say it on Brap. And I'll be saying it throughout the weeks until we see the Sony's big reveal, is I actually had no issue at all with the way that Microsoft presented the XSX, right? I had no problem with it at all. It's a tower. We're getting closer and closer, ever so closer to PC gaming as we continue the evolution of consoles. I get it. It looks fine. It's clean. It'll look good on your desk. It'll look good next to your entertainment center because it's probably not going to fit horizontally in your entertainment center. But that's fine. So I said, the only time this is going to start getting critiqued is once we see what Sony has next to it. And the one thing that was the biggest letdown was they literally were like, whoever was working on the controllers, whoever was working in the controller department was like literally like, I'm going on vacation. I'll see you guys in 2022. I'm out. They didn't even they were out. Like they literally added another raised button and left. I mean, in all honesty, if that person could not get a good pay raise this year if it was my personal opinion. Like, that is throwing the bag in. I understand you might go, well, Mooch, it already looks fantastic. The controller's absolutely fantastic. Great. It is one of the best controllers ever, right? I agree with you. But you gotta tweak the design. You don't have to mess with the ergonomics or the hand layout or the button. No, but you can actually change the design, the feel of it. What PlayStation saw Xbox was able to do with design labs, okay, this generation, you've already seen 75,000 iterations of the DualSense, right? Like, they are going to make hand over fist with this. I've seen everything from the Batman to Spider-Man to Cyberpunk to just, like you're saying, black to white. There's just so many different colors. And to answer Forte for a second on why they chose this one is, I'm not saying you or I love the white. I can totally see myself also wanting to get an all black one myself personally. But what I'm saying to you is, in all honesty, that's the most radical standout color. It makes your eyes go, what? Really? What? That's wow. What is that? Like, whether you like it or you don't, it's polarizing. It gets people to look at it. It gets people to start commencing all this conversation, right? 3 million likes on Instagram in like 8 hours. Okay. Like, that's why they did this shock value. And then you look over and you go, hey, what's Xbox's controller look like? It looks like the one you got in your house right now. Right? That's what it looks like. It looks like the one you have in your hand right now.
It's got a share button now.
Well, I got news for you. I wouldn't even have known. If they didn't say that after, I wouldn't have even known that button was there. When I saw it, I was like, well, what's that? Oh, Mooks added a share button. What? So, I mean, I just, myself personally, I like what Sony's doing, because when you're going to go out and plunk $400 or $500 down this coming November, I don't know about you guys, but after 7 years of looking at the same consoles, I want to see something different. I want to hold something different. I want different. That's what next generation is. It's different. Like, if different was a better sales term, that's what next generation would be called. Come November 20th, we got something different. And I'm interested in different. Right? You know what I mean? I will pump out $500 for different. Like, I want something else. You know? So, I mean, that's where I'm at. Like, I'm not saying that everything that they're saying with the create button, everything's going to be great. We don't know yet. But I got to give Sony credit where credit's due, and they are a hardware company. They make hardware. They know what they're doing in that retrospect. Just like we have to give Microsoft the benefit of the doubt with xCloud and things of that services. And Forte, you're the best person I've ever seen or heard on Crossfire do that speech, and it was fantastic. That's what these two companies are good at.
Hey, Mooch,
Sony,
real quick, can I interrupt you?
Oh, please do.
Because look, our big shout out to our homie Z Black Rider says at Mooch, this Xbox hating theme is weak.
It's not hating.
It's not hating. It's just look. One, this is a talk show. It's an opinion, and there's something to be said. Like what I said earlier, and Mooch, you summed this up I think perfectly, better than I did. When I looked at this control, I felt like, wow, this is different. This to me is a new, like this looks like a next gen console, like something new, like a new product. And it's
like imagine
so
when
different.
you're setting up. Imagine when you're setting up the Xbox Series X, right? And you got your better half with you next to you, right? And you take the tower out, you take the controller out, and you put it on your coffee table. And then you say to your better half, "Excuse me, could you pass me the remote or the new Xbox Series X controller?" And your better half turns around and says to you, "Oh, which one? They're identical." Oh, the one that's got the small raised button just shortly over the what? I mean, it's not hating. My point is, right? You're not going to confuse the DualShock 4 with the DualSense.
The thing too, people kept saying like, well, you hear like the biggest complaint from certain people, not everybody, but you hear the DualShock 4 doesn't feel comfortable because it feels too small. It feels this, it feels that. And it seems
science,
like
Eric.
Once again, it has nothing to do with the form factor.
Yo, it's ugly.
Nothing to do with the form factor.
I know. We can discuss. I know you guys have a lot of various opinions on the controller. I'm pretty sure it looks it looks like it's a lot more comfortable than a DualShock 4. It looks like it's going to be pretty cool. I can't wait to try it out. I really hope the battery's way better than the current battery. But look, it's ugly.
Slow-mo. Time out real quick.
Nah, that joint fire, man.
Let's go to Eric. I want Eric to finish his point, and then we'll go back to Slow-mo, and then we'll go to B Money.
No, because like Forte's saying, it's not the ergonomics. The ergonomics have been a big talking point, throughout this whole generation. I never had a problem with it because honestly, I've said when it comes to like shooters, yeah, I like the feel of the Xbox controller, but I always felt the shoulder buttons were too clicky when I'm playing something like Devil May Cry. They kill my wrist. Don't know why. Something softer, the softer shoulder buttons on the DualShock 4 were fine. And I know people say it feels like a little kid's toy. And I'm like, I'm 6'7". I have huge hands. I have no problem with the DualShock 4. I don't know. NBA players don't seem to have a problem with the DualShock 4, but it seems like on the Xbox side, dudes are like, I can't take it. It's like a baby's toy. And
I'm 5'8".
Side by side, you put them on top of each other. They're almost the same size. So
I'm 5'8". I can't.
Ergonomically, it's like they're trying to address that, right? Now, I think what's throwing people off, as far as the color thing, I think it's that big white piece in the middle.
That's all it is.
But honestly, it's like it's a color blocking thing, and I think Mooch is absolutely right. You throw it out there. If you threw like the all black one out there, you go, oh, okay, it's the DualShock.
We'd be good.
But I guarantee you're gonna get that option though.
Yeah, but the system I buy this is the thing though. The system I buy day one is going to be designed right around that system. So what is our system going to look like?
Forte though, but hear what he's saying, and he's kind of reiterating what I was saying. What he's saying is that basically, if you put the all black one out, that I guarantee you everyone on this panel would like to own. I get that, but what I'm saying to you is, as far as a sales pitch and a wow factor for next generation, that looks like a larger ergonomic like controller of the same DualShock 4. The white pops. Right? It pops on the screen. So people are like, what? Like, I remember when Crap actually said to me, Crap's like, Mooch, check out the new controller. I think all of us said this whenever your friend sent it, like, is that real? Like,
they also,
is that real?
They also do test studies on this stuff too, by the way, guys. Like when they're putting out these color schemes, the designs, they do test to see like what the potential public response to this is going to be. So it isn't just like
straight off the wow factor.
It isn't just like, hey,
they went off the shock factor on it.
But go ahead, man.
Everything. Look, there's wow factor. I've seen wow that's ugly. I've seen wow.
Yeah,
are you serious? I've seen wow. What the fuck?
It gets people to look at it.
Absolutely. To look at it and then be like, okay, so where's your real controller at?
Slow-mo, Lady Gaga showed up to the red carpet wearing steaks. Listen. It gets people to look at it.
Hold on, Mooch. Look, I understand. It gets people to look at it. Doesn't mean they're going to like it when they look at it, but they're going to look at it. And
if you want to play The Last of Us 2, you're going to have to hold it. So it don't matter none. The point of the matter is it makes you look at it, and it's a sales pitch, and it works.
It does.
When I looked at the new Xbox controller, I was like,
man, if you want to buy, look,
hold on, wait. Let's let him finish
this point. We will know whether it works when the system comes out, and there's a huge rush to get the alternate controllers. That's when we know whether it works or not.
Controllers.
And I guarantee you, I will be one of those people getting an alternate color controller. That all black one, that got my name written all over it.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
Guess what?
That looked real fire. Like there was one Spider-Man theme one I saw that looked crazy. I'm like, wow, that looks great. The design is fine. The form factor is fine. It's just that big, like 2/3 of the controller is just straight white. That I'm just like, yo, what are you doing?
No,
and then that kind of makes me feel like really that's going to be the color design of the actual console.
It will be.
Yes.
Why would that be your default controller?
It'll be incorporated for sure.
You know what? We're gonna block this out and come back, and when we hear, oh, once I have it, it's not as bad once I have it in hand. It's actually better than I thought it was going to be.
Well, no, the control. What the color?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, shit.
We hear that all. We get that all the time for
Jeremy, what do you think of this?
But I'm just saying.
You can't be honest. What are you gonna say?
Hold on now.
Slow-mo. Hey.
Give him a text message. Yeah, come see me. Come see me tomorrow. We're in the quarantine. You're not anymore.
Guess what? No, we need you to go out now and lick everything. That's what that's your punishment.
Lick everything.
No. So, but guess what, Slow-mo? If you do end up, you get that new system and you're just like, shit, it's all white, and you decide to buy that other controller. Guess what? I'll be there shaking your hand because I'll be like, I just got paid. So
there you go. I mean, it makes sense. Hey, look, we're gonna drop this controller. 80% of the people gonna hate it, we're gonna be selling so many extra controllers out here. It's gonna be crazy.
Oh yeah, they smart on that part. They smart for that.
Good business sense. I mean, like you're gonna have people gonna buy your console, guaranteed, and they're gonna have to play it with something. They don't want to look at that white monstrosity under, with their console. They're gonna, hey, look, I'm gonna go buy something else.
The only reason people are upset about it is because exactly that. Nobody on Twitter that I see said, I'm not buying the system because of the controller. Everybody just says the controller.
I've seen people say that.
Oh, you have?
I've seen people say that.
They were never going to
buy the system. Exactly. They were buying it. But the true people that said, man, that's hideous. The only reason they're saying it is because of just that. That means I got to buy another controller at a different color. Sony done pump faked me to buy extra accessories when I don't need them.
I was going to say, the minute you said that line, Forte, Sony just lit up a cigar. Listen, right? Yep. I mean, look, if you don't like the way it looks, I can get behind that. I understand it's not for everybody. My whole point is just the shock factor. When I get excited or hyped for next generation, all I can say is I want to see something new. And ingenuitive, and I think that when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, that's what I got just from a simple controller. Don't know what the box looks like yet. Have no idea. We don't know how the games are going to perform and run, all that good stuff. We have no idea on both consoles as far as all that goes. But I mean, what we do know right now is that if Sony's that far thinking outside the box on the controller, what else do they have going? Because this controller is not just, whether you like the design or not, let's get past that for a minute, right? It's got the create button. They took the share button. They're saying they're taking it to new lengths. They've got the sweat factor in there to know, or the heartbeat sensors into the handles, right? They got the microphone into there. So now, and I know a lot of people are not getting that, but I'll give you guys an example from the 360 era, what I was a big fan of, and you guys all know this on the panel. You remember the 360, the earpiece? You guys remember the earpiece that was, it would go into one ear. One ear, yeah. I got to be honest with you. There was times when you were not immersed into Warzone, or you were not immersed into like, red team go, red team go. You know, you weren't like that into the game. You were just kind of jamming out. Maybe you were playing a little Forza. Maybe you were just doing a little this, a little that. And you're talking to your friend, and you don't want to have these suffocating headphones on your head all night long. It's kind of nice if it's just Brat being like, oh, yo, Mooch, what's going on? Oh, not my man. I'm just doing well. And you're just jamming out, talking a little bit, conversating for 20 minutes. Don't have to go, hold on, let me go fish out my headphones real quick. You know what I mean? Like, no, I can actually just enjoy. They're thinking outside the box with just the controller. They've given us maybe 3, maybe 4 new features into a controller for next generation. What's the box going to have that actually has the brains to it? That's intriguing, right? If they went that far with the controller, how far did they go with the box? And how far did they make the inners that much easier for developers to work with and to get things? You know, this is the kind of stuff that goes through your head when you look at what you're going to be plunking $500 down for in the next coming months. And that's what I think is intriguing. Then you turn around and you say, well, what did Xbox do? Well, let me tell you something. All I'm going to say is this. And you know what? Shout out to Slow-Mo, who's, engineering on the show. I will tell you this much. It doesn't take a 6-figure engineer to know that heat rises. No shit. Like, everybody's like, well, Xbox came up with the idea to have the box take the air in from the bottom and shoot it out. Hot air rises. No shit, dude. We learned that in like 2nd grade. My point is that, like, my whole thing is it's the most simplistic design. Like, I don't understand why they couldn't have, like, Xbox gave up on this generation 3-4 years ago. Right, to get ready for next gen. I was expecting Xbox's console to float. Okay, like, I mean, you had so many years to work on this.
It doesn't float.
I'm pretty damn sure it doesn't. As a matter of fact, even the green, like whatever that illuminated thing that we thought would change colors and be an LED, it's a static color. It's not, that doesn't even change. Help it float. Right? So I mean,
so much stupid.
I don't know. Like these are just fun things when you're discussing things with your friends. You're like, I would have thought since Xbox was turned to next generation years ago that this thing was going to be an unbelievable design. The fact that it's just a rectangle and heat rises. Thanks. I think that Sony knows heat rises too. I'm not sure if they have Microsoft engineers over there that they scooped up, but like that's what I'm talking about. Like, when you actually come down to it, it's like not just does Sony have the games that may sell people, but now they're also going to have this aesthetic look that maybe fits in your household, or maybe you want to present more up front. And people don't really get that. That doesn't mean anything. It certainly does when you have 3 million likes Okay, 3 million likes on a controller in 8 hours. Now, someone in the chat just said it was 4.5 million.
I mean, Apple is the master of this. I mean,
that's why I love Apple. Where's Steve Jobs? We missed you, Steve.
I mean, hey guys, real quick, I gotta pay the bills real quick. I'm sorry, guys. Sin Vendetta with the $20 super chat. Thank you, Sin Vendetta. Says the DS4 was a huge improvement over the DS3 because the DS3 was terrible. I'm just wondering how the DS5 feels to play because the DS4 felt pretty great. As far as the Xbox controller, it's the best controller ever made. Thank you for that super chat, sir. Appreciate it.
Shout out to the great Sin Vendetta. By the way. He's the guru of souls. In case nobody doesn't know that, but go ahead. I'm sorry.
Sony has made iterations, generation after generation on a controller. DualShock has continued to get better, every generation. But the overall design was the same. And I feel like, what they showed us yesterday, like that shit looked crazy. I think the overall design is far out. Like the color blocking could be different, but like Moose said, it's that wow factor. And that shit looks futuristic. That shit just reminds me of something that could be in like 2050. Something that you see like on Westworld season 3 or some crazy shit like that. It looks like just a futuristic piece of tech.
Yes.
What was your first thought when you saw that controller? First thought.
It reminded me of Astrobot. Like it reminded me of right of PSVR. Like it reminded me of the headset, like the color blocking of it.
Yes.
Okay. And it just reminded me of Astrobot, and I thought about that. When you first got the PS4 and they had the camera, or whatever. I forget the game, but it's like you could go inside your controller and like shit like that. That's what it reminded me of. Just those little robots and shit. So
Playroom.
Yeah, Playroom.
Yeah,
that's what it reminded me of.
Yeah. Oh, the game, the thing that everybody was watching for other nefarious reasons at the beginning of the generation.
Yeah, that thing.
That thing.
But that's what it reminded me of. So I thought it was a pretty cool design. I'm with it.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you. Oh, go ahead.
No, I got to pay the bills again. I'm sorry, Chrono. Poetic X Initiative with the $2 super chat says, guessing y'all didn't like the N64 controller. I actually like the N64 controller.
Yeah, I like the N64 controller too.
I did too.
Yeah. I brought it up many times, man. Nintendo has always been the ones at the beginning.
Nintendo can escape all this crap.
I mean, they're the ones that bring the innovation to the controllers, man. And then everybody else just kind of adopts it and does their own thing to it.
Yeah.
So, always shout out Nintendo for that.
Yeah. Go ahead, Chrono.
So when the news started popping up about the controller, I didn't hear anything yet from my home office. Being supposedly working from home, they still hadn't said anything to us. So they didn't. All of a sudden, I opened up my Facebook. I started
Sounds
seeing
like the U.S. government.
Well, yeah, not that far off at the with the amount of information they're giving us. But so I was getting a lot of Facebook news pop-ups, and I quickly saw the controller, and I completely dismissed the controller, thinking, "Oh my God, what the hell is this? Is this some new third-party weird off-brand controller?" And that was my first initial impression. I didn't even bother reading the article. Then all of a sudden,
mine too.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
But then all of a sudden, my home office started reaching out. They let us know, oh, they revealed the new control. I'm just like, well, what is this shit? Okay. Hopped on, actually saw the article, read the article, and I'm just like, oh shit. First thing that popped into my head, and maybe it's because of all of my years working for GameStop before PlayStation, the first thing I said was, well, shit, this is going to be one gross-ass looking controller come 3 months from now when people are going to start trading in their shit, because Forte knows. There is no such thing as a white controller when you're trading in controllers.
Nope.
You maybe get that limited edition ivory controller. Oh, it was white. Oh, shit. Okay.
It's not white anymore.
Yeah. So, but as I sat down and looked at it, as you started talking about the features and stuff like that, here's the thing. I truly think that, and again, I'm very impressed by the numbers that Xbox are bringing to their next system, but they are they're approaching gaming from a brute force perspective, whereas PlayStation has a design, has a philosophy in gaming that is very reminiscent to how Nintendo approaches gaming. They're not looking to brute force their way in. They want to finesse and make, and so and that's what I'm thinking. Like like you said, Enrique, it's very forward thinking in terms of the features that they're adding into it, that it makes me wonder exactly, well, shit, what amazing things can come up in terms of a gaming from gaming,
Hey,
just
Chrono,
because of it.
in regards to the features, could you tell me what the upgrades or what the differences are between the create button and the share button with DualShock 4?
Unfortunately, they haven't said anything. They are still playing it very close to the chest. The share button did, really change the way that a lot of people presented their gaming experience to the rest of the world. It does make me wonder if they plan on bringing back the connectivity to Facebook. Will they also will they integrate SharePlay a little bit? I'm sorry, the Share Factory. Share Factory more. Will they do that? I don't know. They haven't said, but it'll be very interesting to see exactly what kind of social elements they'll be bringing back to it. So,
I'm telling you, man, that we're gonna be able to create GIFs. The way that they I'm telling you, the way that PlayStation praises the GIF community, like all those people who make like dope GIFs of their games and giving them developer controllers and shit. I guarantee we're gonna be able to create GIFs.
There's not that's not far fetched at all. B-Money. I think something like that would be, because they said they're kind of impressed with the whole fact that they're going to be doing something with Create. They want to take Share and bring it, and that's what I'm saying. I'm kind of glad that Chrono and B-Money are kind of bringing this up. That goes back to my original statement. It's like, so Sony's taking the ability to share, where we were just able to capture a still frame and send it out, or a video clip and send it out, and they're going to kind of capitalize and move forward on that, right? And kind of advance. Where Xbox is like, hey guys, guess what? We got a share button. We're like, well, what? We have that on, like, the Switch has a share, but what? Like, I don't understand why that's what I don't understand is we're going to sit here and we can spend it's probably going to be the best part of every podcast this week is trying to elaborate and come up with great ideas of what that actual create button is going to entail. And then what sucks, being an Xbox fan is that we don't have that. It's like, oh, okay, I'm going to have a share button. It's going to do exactly what all my other share buttons do. Thanks, Xbox. You caught up. And it's like we kind of made fun of Sony for years for that, didn't we? We made fun of Sony for years. Like, well, I can't wait till Sony finally catches up with a controller. And now it seems like Sony's kind of trying to nuzzle in and take the lead on that on some of the technology fronts. Maybe not the ergonomics. I think Xbox still has a phenomenal controller. Some would still argue the best controller, period, and that's fine. But now Sony's trying to nudge their way through with technology and saying, well, okay, so Microsoft still has that feature where you love to hold it and love to play it that way, but we're giving you a different experience and different features that maybe take your gaming experience into a different level or a different direction. That's next generation.
And it's so funny, like, so many people are dismissive of, like, Rumble and stuff like that. It's like, I don't care about Rumble. But when you don't have Rumble, when you don't have haptic feedback of some sort, you do realize how much it actually adds to the game, even though you didn't realize how much it messes me up in games.
Yeah.
And PlayStation. And PlayStation taking it, like, basically doing a souped up version of what Nintendo did with their Joy-Cons. I don't know. It's going to be very interesting to see.
What's interesting is that when you talk about the haptic feedback, I think one of the things that I think Wired Magazine talked about, this goes back a couple months ago, with regards to the PlayStation 5, they were playing Gran Turismo Sport on a PS5 dev kit, and they were saying that when you were driving on the border between the track and dirt, you could actually feel the surfaces going back and forth and on the controller. So, yeah. When I hear stuff like that, and what the improved haptic feedback is going to bring for this new controller, I'm excited. To me, those are like yeah, we all talk about graphics, graphics and resolution. That's all great, right? But that's just a visual experience, right? That I want to feel something different when I'm holding the controller that adds to my sense of what I'm playing, if that makes sense. And
yeah, no, definitely.
yeah,
It's just like, and when you're talking about, and I don't want to be dismissive of people that just play Call of Duty and stuff like that, where it's just, but with what PlayStation is trying to do is give you experiences, something more than just, the quick multiplayer, well, not so quick, but the multiplayer. They want to immerse you into the world. And guess what? That immersion can extend even so as far as the Call of Duty games and those first person shooters. But, and that's what, and that's why the whole discussion about like the power of whatever the Xbox brings is weird for me, because I'm just like, when you look back at what like the Nintendo, they always came up with an an objectively underpowered system, and yet they use that the lack of power to come up with some of the most creative games, and use within the limitations of the systems to come out with some bangers. Whereas when you have the most powerful system, that doesn't necessarily guarantee that you're going to come out with good product that will resonate with people. Look at the PlayStation 3, which more powerful than the Xbox 360, and it was that more power that ended up shooting them in the foot. Same situation with the Xbox One X. More powerful, and yet no one's using that real power properly. So
I just want to say that both of these controllers I will be using on my PC.
Oh,
yeah, woo, slow-mo, yeah, baby, woo.
Just wanted to throw that out there.
Slow-mo, I was thinking the same thing as you. I was like, at the end of the day, I'm probably Mooch, and you too. You're going to be on there, man. With,
I am. Listen, I got news for you. Now that I've got the PC, and shout out to, I got to give Enrique credit. I got to give Delirium Blades credit, Wilmy Hood credit. You guys all kind of pushed me into it, and once you experience the PC life, it is an interesting. But I'll be honest with you, you work, and now we're all home, right? So you're finding yourself, you're like, maybe I will paint that extra spare bedroom. But, my point being is that, like, when you get home from a long day's work and we all go back to our regular routines again, there is something extremely comforting. And the fact that the PS5 and the Xbox Series X are going to have this tremendous amount of power and bringing a lot of what we see on PC right now, a lot of with Slow-Mo, Forte, Enrique, myself, and others that are talking about PC gaming, these consoles are going to bring a lot of that to your TV in your living room / family room. And I think that convenience.
Mooch.
Well, exactly.
And
but
Warzone,
the convenience factor, Enrique, is there is something to be said for that. There is a price to put on the convenience factory of consoles. So
absolutely.
I will definitely keep the PC upgraded, but I'm definitely going to be getting both consoles.
No, absolutely. You're right about the convenience thing. We were going through that with trying to communicate on PC and Xbox Live going down on PC. But hey, let me ask you guys, what do you I'm only laughing because this is a debate that I see on Twitter a lot for some reason. I kind of don't really care as much, but I find it kind of amusing. Obviously the DualSense is going to use a rechargeable battery, and then you have that camp hey, I don't care if I have to buy batteries or blah blah blah, or no, this is 2020. These controllers should have built-in rechargeable batteries. I mean, what do you guys think about that debate?
So,
it doesn't, to me, I don't care really. I mean, I got docks for my Xbox controllers because I got tired of going out to Walmart and spending $18 on a pack of AA batteries. So go ahead, Forte.
So I get. This is, man. So for me, because you can only really speak for yourself on this, it depends. I really don't care at all when it comes to rechargeable versus, buying batteries. Unless I'm buying a $200 controller like I did with my Xbox One X, my Elite controller. I'm happy that they made that thing rechargeable, because I shouldn't have to buy batteries for a $200 controller or $180 controller. I think that was a good move that they actually did it with that controller. But I am more on the line of having batteries for my Xbox controller, just because I see maybe not next generation, but this generation, I know a lot of people being in retail, whose controller dies and they are pissed because they got to buy another controller and they can't just change out the battery. Now, if you're a savvy person, you could just go to Amazon and literally just buy rechargeable batteries and replace it for like literally like $12, and that takes care of you again. But I just like the fact that you could just pop batteries in there and they work, and you basically up when you need to up. I've been using the same batteries for my Xbox, the original ones that Microsoft sold. I've been using those since the Xbox One came out, so I haven't had to switch any of my batteries in literally 8 years. I just keep charging them. I got 3 of them, and I've never had to replace them. Compared to PlayStation controllers, not so much. I only had to replace twice, out of all the controllers I owned on PlayStation. But, it's like I said, that's why I don't really care about it, but it's more of a preference thing. I don't care if it doesn't, unless I'm spending an insane amount of money on the controller, then I care.
I would prefer an internal battery, but then like we also gotta recognize the DualShock 4 isn't that, like, that internal battery isn't that great anyway. I think I can't tell if it's that stupid light bar.
It's that light bar.
That is
you gotta turn it.
so
You gotta
much.
turn it down, Slow-Mo. You gotta turn down the.
At this point, it's like every one of my DualShock 4 controllers. I have a gold one and I have an all white one. Both of them, pretty much, whenever I use them, I have to have them plugged into, have to have the micro USB plugged into something, because if it's off of that, it's got a good 30 minutes before it's dead.
Ooh.
Really?
So, yeah.
What?
I haven't run into that.
I've never had that issue.
Oh, I have people that literally just they have to keep they'd rather buy the cable to keep their controller on versus buy new ones, because it's like, I don't want to spend $60 for another controller.
That's how you destroy the battery, though.
Right.
I know.
You're supposed to keep it plugged up.
Right. I was just going to say that, B.
It's either plugged up or it's dead. So at this point, for me, it's going to be plugged up. I mean, and I know I didn't have it like always plugged up all the time. I didn't keep it like that, because the same plug I used for that I used to I was using for something else. But it is what it is. That's my experience with it. I want a better battery for the DualSense. The rechargeables with Xbox, I mean, I would prefer the internal battery due to how they're doing it. I get the Panasonic InnoLoop Pros that last like 2 batteries last me pretty much like a week before I have to switch them out for the others. So, I mean, those are great and all, but then like you have to buy a controller, and then those InnoLoop Pros are like an additional $20-$25.
Yeah.
It's just like, why am I spending all this extra money? And that's literally like whether you're actually doing AA batteries, or you go buy a rechargeable that's of high quality. You have to spend extra money on top of the controller anyway, and it's just
exactly
like,
slow-mo.
Can we get the controller? Like I said it in the chat, the Switch Pro controller, best controller really when it comes to battery life. It's freaking awesome. It lasts forever.
That controller is awesome.
It's ridiculous.
It lasts you the entire week without charging that thing.
Yeah. Exactly, and it's got a USB-C connector. It's just like, how is it that Nintendo is the most forward thinking Nintendo all here? Forward thinking with this. I don't get it.
That slow-mo from the Wii U Pro controller to that one, it's like it was a complete jump.
Yeah,
man.
In quality, because the Wii U Pro controller, you can talk about like build quality.
Talking about a toy,
like a Mad Catz.
Yeah, that thing was a toy, man. That was the Fisher Price toy.
But that one had that long battery life too, though.
Eric said Mad Catz.
I'm seeing people saying that the DualSense looks like a Mad Catz controller.
Yeah, man. I love this Switch Pro controller. I'm looking at it right now. It's just like I can't remember the last time I had to charge this thing. It's just
that's how I
it'll go
Elite Series too, because it's like I think that battery's 30 hours.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm with B. I don't know what people are doing to these dual shots where these batteries die like this.
Well, I mean, dude, if you see the controllers that and Chronos will tell you, the controllers we see at retail are very indicative to what the rest of the player base outside of the Twitterverse actually does when it comes to taking care of their stuff.
What are they doing?
They
food off the controllers
while they're picking their label or something?
Bro, come on.
Man,
dog toys?
You get someone come in.
Go ahead.
You get some of these people come in. They're just like, So I don't know what's wrong with my controller.
Oh my God.
I think slow-mo.
Oh,
I think
no,
slow-mo nailed it when he said, when you go to pick up, when I pick up an Xbox controller, I already know, except for the Elite V2, you know that you're going to be picking up a plug-and-play kit for $25. And it's funny. I had this conversation going back and forth with Crap on a show one time. He was at one time buying the ones, and shout out to GameStop, right? They tried to sell it to me. They're like, well, we got these other ones over here for $12.99. They're just as good. They're great. It's made by I go, who's making those? They're like, oh, they're made by Mooch Industries. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, right. So I'm like, no, I'll take the Xbox one. I've always bought the Xbox plug and play, and it's lasted me the generation. I've never had a problem. It's always good. But going back to Slow-Mo's point, you do realize that when you go to pick up an Xbox controller, you are in for another $25. Now, if that's something that, here's my point. I'm okay with the battery thing. I'm not going to sit here and harp on the battery thing because listen, we are in the generation of options, right? What is it we see every summer? We see people with the windows down and the air conditioning on in the car, right? Yeah. It's a generation of options, right? Well, yeah, not this summer, but nonetheless. So if you want to go ahead and do that, that's fine. But here's the thing. For people saying I don't have a problem with batteries, the batteries cost money too. So I don't get when somebody's like, I bought 75 packs of batteries. I'm good. Why don't you just buy the $25 plug and play and be done with it? But that's one thing that baffles me beyond belief. But I will say this much. They did say that the DualSense is going to be extremely better, a lot better on retaining power and not going 3 hours maximum like the DualShock 4. If they've been able to get that up to a certain level, which I think they've heard the complaints, I still don't think they'll match what Xbox can do with their plug and play. And that Elite V2, I got news for you. I don't know about you guys. That thing lasts
ever. I only charged that controller 4 times since I owned it in November.
Facts. Thank you for saying that. I've literally charged it twice, and it was once just because I was like, this thing must need to, I'm talking to it. I'm like, you must be hungry, right? Like, what the hell? Like, I've been playing this shit for, we played Warzone for 7 hours one night. We played it for 5 hours the next night. We played it for 6 hours the next night, and I hit the home button to look at where the battery juice was. Shit said full. I'm like, no way.
It's got a car battery in it, man.
I was like, what? I plugged it in anyway. I'm like, even I get hungry, man. I'm like, you got to eat. There's no way this thing is not half at least. So, but this thing is amazing. But nonetheless, I think Sony stepped their game up in that department. But here's the thing. We live in the generation of options. So if you want to put batteries or a power pack, the only thing is this. As long as you don't mind paying the extra $20. And look, you can't be listening to any of these shows, right? You can't be on Twitter talking in the gaming community. Gaming's an expensive hobby. So there's no way that $25 plug and play is going to ruin next generation, right? It's not. So I think it's a non-factor. I think it's a talking point, great talking point, but it's a non-factor in the end of all things, right? I don't see a problem with it.
Yeah. Hey, real quick, I got to go to the super chat again, guys. Is it Sean with the $1.99 super chat says, sup to the homie Mooch.
What's up, Showan? Great dude. Awesome dude. Big time gamer.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring that up because I always find that conversation on Twitter to be kind of comical.
How many people digging through all the junk drawers in the kitchen trying to find a damn AA battery?
I'm sitting here.
Mixed match ass batteries.
Let me tell you something. I've had to take double. I've had
one Duracell, one Ever Ready.
Mix and match. Put them in the freezer.
Oh man.
I used to steal batteries for my kids' toys. Before I got a charging, no batteries in the damn TV remotes.
Yeah, my
wife, what's wrong with the TV? Oh, sorry, took the batteries. Playing Warzone.
Like I'm playing Warzone with Mooch. I needed batteries.
I'm just happy that both controllers are going to USB-C. God,
yes,
it's long. It took them long enough.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's great. That's awesome.
Where y'all been?
Yeah,
right.
Right.
Well, guys, I do want to move on to the next topic. It's funny. I think Mooch will probably have a couple topics we'll spend an hour on. That was definitely an hour. of talking about
It's
the
a
PlayStation
polarizing
5.
subject line. Enrique.
Very polarizing. Very polarizing. But I want to go to another subject. And this one hurt. But, it's funny. We had David Jaffe on about 3 weeks ago. And David Jaffe said, you know what, guys? I wouldn't be surprised if The Last of Us, because this is when, it's people started working from home because of the pandemic. And Jaffe's like, I don't know how these guys are going to, work from home and do work, debug games. And, they've never done this before. They're going to be set up right and blah, blah, blah. He's like, I wouldn't be surprised if a game like The Last of Us got delayed. And I was like, nah, it's probably not going to happen, Jaffe. And sure enough.
I don't know why you thought that, bro.
I don't know. Well, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, right.
Well, the thing about it though,
if the game ain't go right now, man, it's getting delayed. Just know it.
I mean, you're right, B. I look, I don't have, and we'll get to this later. I don't even have full faith that these consoles might even launch this year. I know Phil said, the manufacturer's ramping up in China again, and Sony saying they don't see it impacting launch of the PlayStation 5. I don't know, but yeah, I mean, I guess I should have taken that. I should have taken that with a grain of salt. Jaffe was on something, but he was onto something there. But yeah, it was kind of a punch in the gut. I was. This is the one game, guys, that I was looking forward to. This was my perennial game of the year contender without even playing it. Right, just based on the previous Last of Us and the pedigree of Naughty Dog.
It still may be.
Yeah, and it might be, but it's interesting. So it's but what's interesting was the back. I don't want to say backlash, but I understand people being disappointed. But I saw a lot of people saying, "Well, why couldn't they just release this game digitally?" Right? we have that. We have the avenue to do that.
Forte. Well, people don't understand business, man. That's
exactly. Forte's like those are fighting words. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, but I mean, I was kind of like thinking that too. Like, I mean, well, why couldn't they do it? I mean, Final Fantasy's doing it right now.
Nah.
I mean, again,
this is one of the most expensive games, Enrique, that Sony's putting out of pocket. I don't care if you want to go ahead and say it's 60-40 digital. I'll ride with you. Here's the thing: they want the 40 too. Okay,
that 40 is a lot of
game.
A
lot of money.
This game is. I mean, listen, I got news for you. I'm all digital, but I buy my
higher revenue.
Exactly. Plus, it is. That's true. But I got my collector's edition at GameStop. Right. And I didn't cancel my pre-order. I didn't cancel my pre-order on that because when it does come out this year, I want to go get it. So my point is that, like, really, I mean, like, let's be real for a minute. So they're not going to lose that 40%. When it comes to what Jaffe was saying, if I understood, and I didn't hear him say it, so I'm going by what you just said, Enrique, with the debugging and the software and the going gold and all that stuff that developers go through, that will impact many games going forward for this year. But The Last of Us 2 happens to be a special situation where we've heard from multiple people now, one being Jason Schreier, that the game is just about, if not done. So, right, in this case, it was literally a shipment issue. It's like trucks are not moving product. Stores, brick and mortar are not open. Collector's editions, people have all these things pre-order, not able to fulfill orders. They're not going to have their most, what do I want to say, their flagship, if you will, their flagship franchise not be able to be distributed to 100% of their customers when they want it. That's for damn sure.
I'm going to play the devil.
Had to get delayed.
I'm going to play the devil's advocate here, though. But people are connected to the internet, right? And there's a little bit more to this because I mean I think a lot of people are thinking more of North America, the United States. Why can't people get digitally? There's other places in the country that don't have that infrastructure per se that we do, in terms of having access to digital downloads, things like that, poor digital download speeds. And so I wonder if
other
it was
countries. We talk about West Virginia. We talk about
bring up other countries.
We talk about Oklahoma,
we talk about parts of Texas and
Oklahoma.
Look, man, all I know.
Wait. Let me finish my point. I'll get to you for a second. But I wonder how much. I guess I wonder how much of this was a global decision too. I think people forget about that from a global standpoint, outside of North America. But I will say this though. I mean, but still, people do have internet. Why not just release it May 20th or May? Well, I forget the launch day. Why not just do it digitally anyway?
Hey, Enrique, let me ask you something.
Go ahead, man. I'm just playing devil's advocate. I'm not saying I disagree with you guys, but good.
Do you think Square Enix is happy the way that Final Fantasy is releasing? One of their biggest franchises ever?
No, they're not happy, and you know that's why they got ahead of that with even weeks before launch, saying, hey, some people may not be getting their games on time.
Yeah, exactly. So they can't even make this like an event. Like they keep posting on Twitter like the game's about to release. People have had the game for a week and a half already.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like it's not a big event anymore like it should be. It's not going to be celebrated the same way that it should be. Final Fantasy VII is one of those highly revered games, and look at the way it's releasing. Like Square Enix, you can't do anything about that. It's out of control.
Spoilers like the Matrix out here, man. People all like, "Oh my god!" I'm like, all right, click, click, click. Try to get away from it.
And how crazy is that, Slomo, that you have to dodge? You have to keep dodging that because you don't want to know anything yet, right? But yet, people are saying they should go ahead and release The Last of Us digitally. They're one of their biggest games. You feel like they should go ahead and release it digitally because people think inward. They don't think outward about what that trickle down effect would do, right? It's not even just the financial portion of it. Not everybody has the means. If you have the means, God bless you. You have the means to hold on to your physical copy and still get the digital. Great. Not everybody can do that. People have lost their jobs right now, the whole nine, right? So people are sitting at home, whatever the case may be. And then you got to deal with spoilers for one of the biggest story games possibly of the generation, right? You have to weather that storm. But again, people think, no, just go ahead and release a digital because that's what I want.
Yeah. And it's one thing for someone to say, you know what, I like The Last of Us. I'm interested in that game, but I'm going to wait into a sale. That's a choice. If you're choosing to weather the storm of potential spoilers and having to kind of dodge that, and you're making that choice to, I'll deal with the potential spoilers to not spend the $60 because I don't think my interest in this game is worth that much. That's cool.
Right.
But when you have put down a pre-order for $60 or whatever, you put down an order for a collector's edition, you spent, what is that, over $200 for that? You spend all this money on something, and what I'm supposed to wait on that for who knows how long? While those who spent $60 digitally is just going to be playing the game and sharing it on Twitter, sharing endings. You know how people are. And it's just like, no, that's not fair. I didn't choose that. I pre-ordered the game to get it May 29th when it came out. If I can't get my game at that time, nobody should get the game at that time. And which, I'm not even shading towards Square Enix for, because they couldn't control how people got it. They just wanted to make sure people didn't get Final Fantasy VII Remake after the 10th. So they were like, look, if you got it early,
Square Enix could have controlled it. They decided to make sure a country was able to get it instead of delaying it, because we got an email about that telling us that the reason it was going to be available in other countries early and they can't control the release of the game because it's going to be going to different retailers in different countries is because they had to ship it out early. They shipped it to that country, to those countries that got it early, just so they can make sure they can make that April 10 deadline, versus in America, they were already shipped here. They just had to make sure that retailers wouldn't break the street day here, but they can't, they have less authority when it comes to, more mom and pops that are, taking over when it comes to the European areas and stuff. But they could have controlled it. They just would have had to make sure that game would have been late arriving there after the April 10th deadline if they did.
And that's what the point I'm saying is that they could have controlled it, but this was better than the alternative. Which
exactly.
People like the situation we talked about with The Last of Us 2, where people they spent their money and now they're waiting after the game came out, and people who bought it digitally are like, this is amazing. This is great. You gotta play it. Oh, you can't because you're still waiting. It's not.
But they're leaving it up to the developer. They're leaving it up to retail to see if they want to release the game early. Because I got my copies of Final Fantasy in, but we can't release them.
But see, I'm one of those people that would probably fit into the stereotype that people are saying online. I would keep my collector's edition. I would not cancel it. But if it did come out digitally, I would buy it. And then I would play that, and then I would just keep the steel book or whatever, how it comes in the collector's edition. I would keep that just sealed up. But I mean, most people, I think Slow-Mo's right. That's the thing is, it's the what have you done for me lately? I mean, look at RE3, right? RE3 is 5.5, 6, 7 hours. I don't care if you want to really prolong it. Maybe it's 8 hours. And because people have been playing it and people are just sitting waiting for Final Fantasy, people were just sitting waiting for the next game to come out. People are like, well, I'll pick up RE3. It's a short little fun game. I'll play that. So much money made because all this stuff's coming out. YouTube's presenting it. People are doing Let's Plays. People are doing streams. People keep talking about screenshots galore. Nonstop. As we're doing this show right now on Twitter, it's RE3. I can't wait for Final Fantasy stuff until Final Fantasy comes. I'm gonna play RE3. It's like finally somebody's gonna be like. There's gonna be a lot of people tonight that still pull the trigger and buy RE3 digitally because they don't want to wait 2 days. They're like, oh, I got 5.5 hours between today and tomorrow. I'm home for the next 2 days. No problem. I'll wait for Final Fantasy 7. I'll play RE3. This is what Slow-Mo's talking about. In the end game, the thing about it is that they had to do this delay because it would be spoiler for folks that would not go out and spend that $60 digitally. It would ruin the game. It would ultimately take all this hard work and it would ruin it for at least 40% of the public. And that's not something that Sony was willing to do. So this delay was inevitable. And I'll tell you something. This delay really opens up a fork in the road. It really, really does. Now, all of a sudden, you have Microsoft's biggest claim to fame. This is Microsoft's biggest nightmare right now because Microsoft had a franchise Halo Infinite game in the box, not literally, but through Game Pass. So whether you have Game Pass or not, they were going to give you 30 days, 60 days, 90 days in the box when you went to get Xbox Series X. Now Sony is in the position to have The Last of Us 2 in the box for PS5. And a lot of people keep saying, Mooch, you're out of your mind. That makes no sense. They were going to make money off that. Listen,
wait.
They're still going to make money off that. They were going to, a lot of people have no problem saying that Sony is going to have a $400 console. They're going to take a $100 hit on the console. Well, that game, folks, is about $50 to $60 in your respected areas, maybe $64 with tax. Okay. What I'm saying to you is, why couldn't they charge $499 for the PS5 and put that in the box? Don't tell me that's crazy. Because you're okay with $399 and them taking a $100 hit. Well, if they put it for $499, they cannot take the hit or just take the hit on the game and not lose the full $100. My point being is this. Or if you don't want to ride with me at all on that, then go the complete safe route. The safe route is, fine, they do a $399 console and you go home and you got to buy The Last of Us 2 the way you have to today. That's fine. Still $450, $464. My point being is that Sony still has a golden bullet now. They have The Last of Us 2 that is a possible PS5 release. Whether you think it's in the box or not, that's fine. That's going to be debatable as time goes on. But Halo Infinite was a major, major piece that Microsoft was going to be. We have one of our largest, if not the largest franchise right now, going home with you day and date. Sony's going to have to fill in with third-party exclusive deals or Resogun 2 or Knack 3. Okay, you guys know where I'm going with this. My point being is Last of Us 2 is a golden bullet for Sony, whether it's included in the package and they put it at $499 or they do $399 and make you buy it a la carte. Regardless, the fact that Last of Us 2 is possibly going to be a PS5 release title, that is a major. And guys, it's April. It is April. You're telling me possibly even Microsoft Studios will tell you, Naughty Dog, one of the best studios out there, you're going to give them 7 months? You don't think they're going to make that thing look unbelievable with PS5 specs? They're going to up it. They're going to do what they were going to do anyways. So my point being is this is going to be a major, major move. And I'm interested to see how Sony kind of utilizes this asset they have in The Last of Us 2, where before it was just going to be a great ending to PS4. This may be a phenomenal entrance in the PS5. It's going to be an unbelievable fork in the road we're going into.
It's a very Booch. That's an interesting point. This may actually benefit perhaps the PlayStation 5 launch now because you have, like you said, that golden bullet now, if you will, with The Last of Us 2. But I wonder. I want to go to Chrono. What did you catch wind about this? Because obviously this is a game that you would have been promoting, I would imagine, over the next coming weeks as we get into May.
Well, that's the thing, though. That's the thing. We for all of our big releases, this would be the time that we would have started our major push.
Gotcha.
This month and all of this month. This would have been. I'm I'm not surprised that they said what they said in terms of, well, we're going to have to pull this off the show, off of our release schedule, because we can't give it the type of publicity that the kind of push that we should be giving it. And it's very true. You know, all of the plans that they had to promote it at a store level, because, I mean, yes, there are those people, the gamers, you know, they're connected to the internet. You know, they'll see the ads, you know, without a problem. It's going to be at a store level, the mom and pops, the Best Buys, the GameStops, where people that aren't connected, you know, they would need that visual representation. And, you know, with us, with stores not able to properly promote it without giving, you know, basically giving the event status that we would have given a game that is deserving of an event status, it was better off for them to delay the game. And, you know, I'm not surprised. So it's, yeah, I'm just not surprised. So.
Yeah, let me ask you, Croto, because we have another game that's supposed to be launching, another big PlayStation exclusive, Ghost of Tsushima. I mean,
I thought you were going to say Iron Man VR. So,
well, actually, yeah. I mean, Iron Man VR. That's right. I mean, Iron Man VR was delayed as well, but a lot of us were a lot of us were anticipating Ghost of Tsushima. What happens to that game now? Do you think that that game also gets delayed too?
Had the world not collapsed upon itself, I mean, The Last of Us would have come out, and that's the biggest thing. And we were pushing as far as we possibly could have. And if things go the way they're going now, in terms of, I mean, my home office is right now closed until the end of April. And no one's allowed to go into the office unless they're essential. If this extends past that, it may very well happen that Ghost of Tsushima gets delayed. Right now, we're working on the assumption that it won't, but it's a very strong possibility it will. You know.
Yeah, I think so too, man. I think that, and I think we're gonna see some more delays too. I think Wastelands 3 was actually just delayed as well
to September, I think.
Yeah, I mean, this thing, I just think that this is, and I got to be honest with you guys. Let me know what you guys think. I'm not so sure that these consoles are going to release this year. I just get this sinking feeling until there's, look, I really believe until they can either figure out how to get a lot of people back into the workforce, and that would probably mean that, you know, you'd have to identify people who've had this pandemic, had this virus, if you will, already, that have antibodies that can go out and work, so you don't have to worry about risking infection, or they have some kind of, maybe new treatment or something, or a vaccine. I mean, how much are these factories going to be able to crank out at a capacity where they can really launch these consoles as they would if there was no pandemic?
I'll be honest with you, Enrique, if they're going to go ahead and let's just say the market in the world kind of opens up again May 1st, and you know, things that we were talking about before the show, and what Chrono was just saying, like he said, end of the month, that seems to be the protocol right now. Let's just hypothetically say May 1st, everything, you know, full-fledged production for these consoles, and I hate to use old statistics, but back in 2013, I believe these things didn't even go into full-fledged production until May, June of 2013 before their November releases. So I think that's why you're seeing Phil, and I think that's why you're seeing Sony come out and say that we plan to be fully, you know, capable of handling the release as intended, is because now I guarantee you that they'll go back on those words if for some reason we go from May 1st to June 1st when the market.
Yes, definitely.
That'll change things. But right now, if things open up again May 1st, it may not. I truly do believe that as things stand today, and only today, okay, you have to say that. I would say that we are probably we're probably okay for this November launch for both companies, and I think that's why they are both claiming to stick with holiday. I mean, if they have to push the envelope, they'll go December 1. But they want to do this thing in November. I think that's why when Xbox came out after the reveal, and somebody somewhere That's what's so funny. I don't understand how nobody has. Does anybody have a boss anymore? Does anybody have a boss that gives it? Like, right? Xbox is like, Thanksgiving 2020. Then somebody was like, take that down. Well, who the hell told you to put it up? They put Thanksgiving 2020, and within about 8 minutes of the internet finding out, they went back to holiday to cover their butts. Which, by the way, holiday is the right term. Because holiday can encompass everything up to like December 24th. So it is what it is, right? I mean, let's be honest. So, well, right? Corona, you know that.
I was actually dealing with a customer talking about the launch of the PlayStation, and I said holiday 2020.
Right.
And they legit were confused. They're like, what holiday? I'm like, wait. That's even a question. Exactly. It's like, wait, you don't normally associate holiday something.
Valentine's Day.
With...
Why?
Exactly. I'm just like, and I was doing everything in my power not to be a smartass and saying Groundhog's Day. So
that would have been better.
It's like, it was, yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, I wanted to correct something I said earlier. Wasteland 3 is actually delayed to August. For now, so I don't, they actually came out and said that working from home was a little bit of a adjustment for them, and that's why the game was mostly finished, but they still had to, as far as bugs go in that post-production process, they still weren't there yet. So, I mean, it makes I think a lot of studios are going to be like in exile in that where working from home is going to be somewhat of an adjustment. And when you're trying to fix bugs, and it's different when you're trying to describe the bug to someone instead of just showing them, hey, look, when I go over here, this happens. Instead, it's like, all right, hold on. Let me record this. Let me then send this to you. Let me download this so you can upload it and see what I'm talking about. It's just like, it's that additional time and that adjustment that really makes things a little bit more difficult. So hopefully these studios and their publishers, especially their publishers who seem to be really impatient with things, err on the side of caution and say, let's make sure the game's ready and not full of bugs before we release. And just if that means yet another delay, then so be it. Because I will always say delay a game before releasing some broken garbage that people play, get mad at, and then they just never go back to it. And then like 2 or 3 months later, you're like, oh, we patched our game up, it's great, and no one cares anymore. They moved on to something else. So
agreed.
Aside from the marketing element too, we have to, and we sort of touched upon it earlier, in terms of our business partnerships. I mean, yeah, it'd be great to release it digitally. As a gamer, we would love that stuff. But when we're talking about places like GameStops, Best Buys, Targets, where we have these partnerships, where we're trying to, they need those sales. Regardless of how many actually physically get sold, we have partnerships with them that we have to make sure that, if they'll get screwed, and they won't be able to make their money back if they'll be stuck with all this product if everyone decides to download digital. And people will say, oh, I'll still buy a physical copy. Bullshit. A lot of people would just stick with the digital and not buy a physical copy also. And we have to make sure that we're taking care of our store partners. So
do you know how many people are waiting to pick up their copies of Persona 5 and their copies of Resident Evil 3 that are stuck in GameStop stores because they're closed in certain areas, and they could just go buy a digital copy of the game right now and play it? There's a lot of people that's not doing that. Like the fact that I get phone calls, not so much right now because of it's been like a week, almost 3 or 4 days since those games released, but literally coming up to those games coming out, people were calling my store every day like, hey, what's going on with the pre-orders at this store? What do we need to do? Is there a way that we come to your store, pick it up? I'm like, no, unfortunately, your stuff's stuck at that store. You can go through other channels to see if you can get it from corporate, if they'll mail it to you. But if it's a collector's edition, you'll kind of lose that because they're only sending those to the stores. And most people are like, you know what? As long as I know what's going on, I'll wait. I was like, you know, you can just buy it digital. When you come up to a store and buy digital code right now and get a refund on your pre-order, and people are like, "Nah, man, I rather wait. It's not that big of a deal," you know.
But, you know, that's interesting you mentioned that, because last Saturday on Scumcast we had Restored Hades on, and he described that exact scenario. He pre-ordered the collector's edition for Final Fantasy VII Remake at a GameStop that's in a mall, but the mall is shut down.
The mall is shut down. Yeah,
he can't go in, and they told him like you're gonna have to pick it up there or something like that. And he's like, well, I mean, I would much rather just get it digital now. So that's what he went and pre-ordered it digital, because he's not gonna be able to get his collector's edition because it's there at the store, and he can't go in there to get it because the mall shut down. So
right, and there's a lot of people that are willing to do that, but it was funny because when I saw this pop up, the first thing I tweeted, and I tweeted on it. First thing I said is, I said, "Man, this shows how important actual retail is to this whole narrative," because they say logistically this is why they're doing it, and it's 100% right. People, that 40% or 50% or whatever number you want to say of physical sales is still part of the equation, matters. And
yes,
like E said, you know, that whole spectacle, you don't get that when you have two separate releases. I understand that people want to play the game, and it's available for you to play if it comes out on the 29th and all this other stuff. I get that, but you know, it's still a duty of Sony to sit there and say, our flagship title, we won't have we won't segment the player base by saying, oh, if you have the means of playing this digitally, here's the game. You could do that with something like Neo, or you could do that with something like Resident Evil 3, something smaller on a scale like that. But when you're talking about something that cost you $200 million to make, you need to count every last one of those ducats to get that back. And plus, like Moose said, it's also a double-edged sword. What happens if this gets pushed back until August? Does Sony start thinking about a situation where they can like release this closer to the PS5 and say, you know what? We have an opportunity here to not only just sell the game, but literally have it promote our new system too. You know, we don't know how long the lines of communication are going to go on this. So there's a two-prong attack going on with this. I think they didn't have to announce this right now. The game doesn't release for a whole nother, well, at that point, it was like 2 months. But they got ahead of it now. And so I think there's a whole bunch of different things at play.
They're also offering digital refunds too, which I thought was
full refunds on the game.
Refunds,
yeah. So that right there also like kind of makes me wonder: are they going to do something? Is this theoretically going to get pushed back to close to the PS5? Because if it was still gonna release. I mean, it's going to release on all systems still, but this was going to release soon, like sooner rather than later. Why would you refund? You know, you promoted it. Yeah. Normally when something like this happens, people just call and say, hey, is it possible to get a refund on this? The fact that they actually went out and promoted it, saying, hey, if you have bought a digital copy and this is something that you want to do,
that's the move. That's the move right there that tells me it's a PS5 launch title.
That's the move, because when's the last time you heard a company openly promote that we're taking refunds, and we know how hard Sony fights against you getting it.
Yeah, right.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
He's right.
You have no idea what you're talking about.
You got to jump through fire hoops.
What's up with that, man?
You got to jump through fire hoops to get a refund from Sony on a digital product, and they're literally refunding a digital copy back to you that doesn't even come out for 2 months. So it's a lot of smoke and fire going on right there.
I don't know what you're talking about. Hey, does this smell like chloroform to you? What? No.
I just want to say something real quick. I want to timestamp this at 10:40 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on April 8th. 2020. Mooch said that this is proof that this game will be a PS5 launch title because they're.
I did not say it's proof. I said it sounds legit.
Oh, okay.
He said it sounds legit. Already.
Forte, you just gave a 20-minute rebuttal on how this may be the case, and I got credit for it. How the hell did that happen?
Because you're the elder spokesman of this group, man. So you always get the credit.
I guess I'll stand on that hill. You know,
well, look, I'll give
That's all right. That's all right. During Crossfire on Friday, you can redirect all of that stuff back to me.
You know it's coming back to you, Forte.
Yes,
well,
sir.
I will
But,
say,
it holds
I'll
water
give
though,
credit to
Brap,
Forte
right?
Mooch
I mean,
then.
it does.
It makes sense. Like I could.
They're retracting the
I
money.
could
Listen,
see
you just
this,
heard Forte,
yes.
we have a Sony rep on the panel. Like, they're not going to. When have we ever seen any company, Microsoft, Sony, Nintendo, be like, we're going to give money back on this? That's what they're. The reason being is this is probably going to be a PS5 launch title. And I mean, that leads me to believe it when I saw that they were going to give the money back. If the money wasn't going back, then I'd say, nah, maybe. But think about it. Ghost of Tsushima's end of June, right? So they're not going to cram it into July. It makes no sense. So August, September, is that? I mean, you also don't want this franchise, this leading flagship title, to feel like it's just blah. So how do you bring it back and give it that pedestal? You give it the limelight it deserves, and you put myself. Guys, you have no idea. Like, in case you didn't know, I'm a huge Last of Us fan. I just beat it on Grounded today, and that was an accomplishment in itself. I got.
What did you say? You're looking forward to Grounded?
I beat Grounded. I beat it on Grounded level on the Last of Us. No, okay.
I'm sorry, I got confused there. I'm sorry.
I did not play Honey, I Shrunk the Kids today. No, what I did play was The Last of Us on Grounded difficulty, and I beat it. And let me tell you something. I beat it on Survivor twice. Grounded is it's different. I got news for you. There is absolutely no ammunition in that game at all on Grounded. You have to be very proficient at throwing bricks and beer bottles at enemies. But
sounds like the world we're living in right now.
It is, right? I'm telling you, it's hard to play The Last of Us. That was the other thing. It's slow-mo. I don't know if it was you said it. Somebody had said this before. I don't know who it was on Twitter, but somebody said, it may also come down to the fact that we're in a pandemic right now, and maybe now's not the best time to have the end of the world kind of video game coming out. So, I mean, you put all of that into conjunction with the shipping issues and the sales issues and the physical copies and the brick and mortars closed, it just pushes it to a delay. And I don't see how you could not be sitting at that glorious mahogany table, okay, in Japan and not saying, why don't we move this to a PS5 launch? It is absolutely business genius.
Plus, we have to remember, like we don't know what's going on with all the other third-party partnerships. You know what I mean? Those games might not be ready PS5. So if you got a game that's going to be ready, that you can stick on a shelf for now, and get it closer to that window, then why not?
Well, think about it this way, B. I'll add to what you're saying, and I'll trump it in 1 second, right? You have The Last of Us 2 possibly as a launch title for PS5. You've got Quantum Error, which is a timed exclusive for PS5. You've got Godfall, timed exclusive for PS5. That is an unbelievable lineup for Sony if they were to open up this upcoming holiday season, right? I mean, that's going up against what? Halo Infinite, and that's about it. And I mean, I'm not belittling it. We don't know. Xbox hasn't shown their cards yet, but Fable's not ready. Hellblade is not nearly ready, right? So nothing's ready. They're not going to do Forza until next year. So you have Halo Infinite and whatever, the AA type of games that are going to come out in Game Pass versus possibly Quantum Error, Godfall, and The Last of Us 2. I mean, you guys, and we haven't heard one word from Sony on their first party at all. So we don't know what they're coming out with as far as what they were planning to do prior to this delay. It's an interesting talking piece as we go into the summer. I think this is going to be. It's crazy to see how they're going to fold these cards out. Both companies.
Yeah. No. Great points. I mean, Chrono, as a betting man, as the PlayStation rep here on the show. Do you think that this is likely? Do you see this happening? Do you see that Sony pushes us back for the launch of the PS5?
The gamer in me says yes. My home office though has been, and we've talked about we're so bottom of the totem pole that they don't even hint at the possibility. We know that they're still having discussions, that they're, doing their conference calls and whatnot. But Mooch is right. It sounds like it makes perfect sense. The fact that they did indefinitely delay just tells me that they are planning something. I mean, the fact that they didn't even hint at a possible launch window
Nope.
leads me to believe that we may make this a big thing. Now, will it be will they just make it a PS5 game? Will they release a PS? Will they do a PS4 version and a PS5 version? Will they have a PS4 version upgraded to the PS, since it's backwards compatible? Will they even release a separate PS5 version? They'll just use the PS4 version. Who really knows? But I'm sure that they are.
They want
I'm
anarchy
sure that
in the street if they do that, huh?
I'm sure that the gears are turning for them in terms of how they can make this basically recoup their money. So.
Yeah, and I think that's a great point, man.
Well, it has to go to PS4 as well, by the way. I want to make
I was going to say, yeah.
Has to. I mean, because there's going to be this interim period with both consoles where the existing generation bleeds into next. So they're going to have a PS4 and a PS5 up-res. You know, I mean, that's a given. I'm just saying that the point of the matter is that when you say we're going to have The Last of Us 2 and it's going to utilize to the max, they're going to use all these great sales pitch terms. We're going to utilize the maximum amount of power, blah, 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 and this and that with the PS5. You're not going to want to miss this version only on blah, blah, blah. That's what they're going to do, but they're going to say also available on PS4. So it's going to be, it'll be there as well for PS4. There's no way they're going to let everybody out that already is so anticipated and put their money down thus far in this generation for that game.
Hey, Mooch, can you imagine? Oh, I was just going to say, can you imagine if it does go native PS5, the use of the 3D audio and how the dimensional audio will fuck you up in terms of where the hell did that come from? Where'd that come from?
No, you're 100% right, to be honest with you. I mean, there's I don't know if you guys have the gold or the platinum headset that comes with the the Sony made PlayStation endorsed. I got the platinum headset. Shout out to Richie, who's in the chat right now, who told me about them too. A few others as well. But I mean, I'll be honest with you, when you go in there, you can actually select
sound
the
settings.
Game. Yes, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. What a difference.
Yeah, it's crazy. I got them for my daughter because I ended up getting her the rose gold controller and the headset to match. So I mess around with them every now and again, man. And the sound, profiles that they have on there are crazy. You know what I mean? From game to game.
It's wild. Now they're saying they're going to do that on every game. That's just, to me, that's mind blowing. You guys, I don't know. You become an audiophile as you get older. It's the same thing, right? It's
with
true.
old age.
Think about it, right? No, it's a fact of life. I mean, think about it. When you're younger, right? When you're really young, you're like, what do you like? You like candy, you like sweet things. As you get older, you're like, no, extra garlic, extra onions. When you're a kid, you're like, get the hell out, get that shit away from me, right? Right? So same thing happens in video games.
Oh my God.
Games, you're like, it's all visual conception in your 20s. As soon as you hit your 30s and 40s, you're like, you know what? Let me get some of that audio, man. This is changing my life. So, audio is a big part of game immersion. So to see that, right? To see that both companies are taking a step forward in this retrospect, but Sony has made it very clear that they're taking a serious note on that. So shout out to B Money. He's right on that. That's a big difference. So when I go over there and I go to the, I can't remember what it's called, but whatever it is there, you go into when you have the Platinum headset, you download the app on PlayStation and you can see, like, I believe Uncharted 4, God of War. For some reason, they have MLB on there. But there's about 12 different games right now that they have this audio for. You click it, you assign it to the headset, and when you play that game, it is a totally different experience. And if that experience is going on every title coming out, get ready, folks, because next generation is more than you think, because you'll be well more just engulfed into the game more than just the visuals have provided this generation.
Hold on, what headset is this for the PlayStation again?
I have the platinum, but there's a platinum, there's a gold, there's a lot of them.
Oh,
yeah,
it's the ones that Sony make.
Yeah,
the platinum headsets. Yeah, they're the ones that have the 3D audio. Otherwise, it's just 7.1. But even if you get the gold, though, you'll get the 7.1 surround on the games. So
they work on your Switch too.
Ooh, I think I'm about to go spend some money after this podcast.
I'll send you a picture of them, Enrique, after we get done with the show.
Yeah, please do. please do. So yeah, I'm I'll tell you,
It's unbelievable, dude.
yeah, I'm gonna end up buying them. I already know that's a that's a foregone conclusion. So
This podcast just cost you money, Enrique. I apologize.
Yeah, you know what? You know what's funny, Butch? Every time you come on the show, man, I'm spending
know.
money. By the way, you know
It's happened the last 2 times. Man.
Yeah.
You're like, I gotta get you off the show, dude. You're causing me a lot of distress.
Oh my goodness. You know what, guys? I did want to get to the topic of Epics. I can't even talk now. Epic Games publishing, announcing partnerships with Design, Playdead, and Remedy Entertainment. I gotta say, guys, this is some pretty. I thought this was pretty big news. B, I know this is something you wanted to talk about, man. Let me ask you, what do you? I mean, obviously, I think this is this ties into the Epic Games Store, right? When you get these publishing deals with Remedy, we all know who Remedy is, right? Playdead. What do you think the impact of this is going to be for Epic moving forward with, their storefront and them maybe even venturing out and getting more publishing deals with studios?
Oh man, this is just the beginning. When they first announced the whole Epic Game Store, and they were talking about some of the features, I was like super hyped. I'm like, they're about to come in and change the game. You could just see the competition that they've had with Steam, but now they're taking it to a whole different level. With this whole publisher deal, because what they're doing is fronting the game up front. So they're basically paying for the developer's game, and then the developer, once that loan is paid off for paying for the game, then they're doing 50-50 profit sharing on the game after that. So, typically what you see is a publisher would go in and try to own the IP, which in this case, the developer still retains the IP ownership. So they can pretty much take that game wherever they want because they still own the game. Epic is also helping publish the game on all platforms. It won't just be a game that's in the Epic Game Store. So they're approaching this whole publisher deal at a totally different rate than what we've seen in the past. We've known historically that Sony has always tried to take ownership of the IP if they're going to publish a game. That's one of the reasons why Insomniac went to Microsoft to get Sunset Overdrive done, because all the IP that Insomniac worked on previous to that, Sony owns those IPs. So you kind of see this with Microsoft as well. They've owned the publishing rights to a lot of the games from different developers, and so those developers can't really do anything with those IPs. So they're approaching it in a totally different way, and I think this will spark some of a pretty big change in the industry. And I think you'll see a lot more publishers kind of adapt this same mentality, because otherwise I think Epic is going to make a lot of money here if they don't.
What's interesting, B, is that I heard you say that they're going to still with a lot of the games they're publishing, they're going to launch it on other platforms. But don't you believe though that they probably will have games that are going to be at least maybe timed exclusive on the Epic Game Store? Because to me, that's just.
I'm sure they'll keep stuff away from Steam as long as they possibly can to attract people to that store, because at the end of the day that just benefits the developer, because they do 88% of the margin goes, or the revenue goes to the developer, and they only take 12%. Whereas every other storefront, it's 70-30 split. So they want to get people to go to their store, because that benefits the developer more at the end of the day. But it's only smart business for them to get that game on as many platforms as possible, because they're one fronting the game. So to be able to get that money back, and then to have 50-50 profit sharing, after that, that's just smart business in my opinion. So I think it's going to attract a lot of developers, especially those developers that are kind of like mid-tier, or getting close to being like a pretty big AAA developer. That business model is very attractive, and something that Epic could really take advantage of.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think
plus some of these smaller ones, if you think about it, they're also waiving all licensing fees for the use of the Unreal Engine.
Yep,
So
that's true.
that's a huge cost that is being eliminated from these developers, and they're saving even more money. Or
The engine that's better
even
than
more money
Frostbite, I might add.
Yeah, it destroys Frostbite. I mean, everything destroys Frostbite, but especially Unreal.
I did this in the live chat. No, that's a great point. So, you know, what's interesting is that Tim Sweeney actually said that, like, he was like, you know, this is the publishing model we wanted for ourselves when we worked with other publishers. So it's very much a developer centric type of model, if you will. And I agree with you, B. And Slow-Mo. I think they're like, when I see fully funded projects, meaning again, publishing will cover up to 100% development costs, from developer salaries to go-market expenses such as QA, localization, marketing, all publishing cost. I mean, I would imagine they are going to attract a lot of developers. And I really do think this is going to bolster Epic Games. And I think, like you said, B, they're probably going to have stuff that is exclusive to the Epic Games Store for some time. And, dude, you know what I love about this? They're taking it to Steam. They're taking it to Steam right now on PC. And I love this competition as a PC gamer. It's just great. And Remedy's a big get, by the way. Remedy's a big get for them.
Yeah,
They also
PlayStation
give
was
a
a
lot
lot of
of
rumors are floating
games
around.
as well.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I think was that you, Chrono?
Yeah, I was just going to say there was a huge rumor a few months back where everyone was thinking that PlayStation was going to scoop up Remedy, especially because of the console exclusive content that we got on our system. Everyone was thinking that it was only a matter of time. I wouldn't be surprised if the whole fact that they were able to retain the IPs is the main reason why they went with Epic. So I mean, because that's a big thing. So
yeah, Sony's not a big fan of doing that. When you come over to the Sony family, they're gonna own your shit.
Definitely,
right? Yeah.
Hey,
That's right.
We've got Sunset Overdrive now, don't we? So.
Absolutely. That's the point. I mean, but I like what Epic's doing, man. I mean, let's be honest, that's business, right? That's business. That's how you do it. I mean, if you go back 3-4 years ago and you looked at it, everybody said Steam's a moving locomotive and there's no stopping that train. And then Epic just put up about 7 miles of brick wall, and we're like, we'll do it. And it was like, so I mean, realistically speaking, I like actions like this. I think that's a great move. I think that's what you want to see. So it's competitive. We haven't really truly seen it on the consumer front. So, I would like to see Epic actually put that into dollars reduction for us. Right now, it's been dollars reduction for developers.
Mooch, they have they do something. Just real quick in the PC space, when you're on Steam, Steam don't really give you games the way you get games from PSN through PS Plus and games with gold.
Mm-hmm.
Epic noticed that, and they give you. I mean, they're giving people like 4 or 5 games a month. Like it's like I have probably
for free.
Game store for free, just for free. You don't have to sign up to a service or anything. They just give you games. Like here's games. I've got probably.
I think World War Z was on there last week, right?
Yeah, and I caught World War Z. I've been playing it on PC.
Oh, is it still free?
Yeah, man.
I'm gonna download it.
Mm-hmm.
Slow-mo, let's get on there, man.
But yeah, it's I probably have about 12 games through the Epic Games Store. I've only paid for 4 of them.
Okay. No, that's a great point. And I also took a mental note, and for all you mooch maniacs out there, go to epic.com. I got to go there more often. I didn't know they were offering that. That's actually pretty cool.
Mooch, you need to fire up that PC more, man. I keep telling you.
Listen, I really do. I will be, I promise.
Yeah, you're missing out on all these great deals. I think it's great. They came in there guns blazing with Fortnite, and they just haven't looked back. And as a PC gamer,
Fortnite money is long.
Yes,
it's real long.
Yeah.
I got World War Z for free. The Stanley Parable. I haven't played that yet. I don't know what that is. I got Kingdom Come Deliverance free. I got Assassin's Creed Syndicate for free. Celeste.
What?
and another game called Hob that just came out, a platformer.
Celeste is a real good game.
Yeah, Celeste is a great game. I got all that for free. Only ones I paid for Red Dead 2, Control, and The Walking Dead full series, and Detroit Become Human. That's the only stuff I paid for. And they also do this thing where they keep giving me money back. Like when I played for Detroit Become Human, I had a coupon for $10 off, and I'm like, "What? I thought I already used this coupon." And I'm like, "Well, I guess I got another one. All right. Well, I mean, I just applied the coupon, and there I go." So like every game that I pay, except for Red Dead, which is the first game I paid for through it, every other game, Control, Detroit, and The Walking Dead, I got $10 off all three of those.
Oh my! But hey, is the Epic launcher better now? Because I know it was a little bit of booty when Red Dead came out.
It's still not as good as Steam. It's not anywhere near as good as that. But it's better than what it used to be, though.
Yeah, I want to go to Ryan Landis real quick in the live chat. He says, "Man, Enrique says as a PC gamer all the time now. I bet he drives through McDonald's and says, as a PC gamer, I'll take a large number 4 with a Coke as a PC
gamer, please." They show up with his food, and he's like, "I don't like the resolution on this. What are the graphical settings on those fries right there?"
Are these all high ultra settings? What are the frame rates? What is going on here? Oh my goodness, that is too funny. You know what, guys? I had another topic I want to talk about off the cuff.
Let me get those fries overclocked.
Oh my goodness. Oh God, I forgot. There was something else I wanted to bring up real quick that was directed towards Chrono. Oh, Chrono, I want to ask you a question. Why is Sony locking down a 10, 11-year-old game that's remade exclusive for a month?
Wait, which game are we talking about?
Call of Duty
Modern Warfare 2, man. Come on. It's like 11 years old.
Hey, look, man, it's that partnership with Activision, man. You know, we paid that dollars. So, Activision, yeah, they get it. They gave it to us for that kind of money. So,
hey, let me
can't help that.
Are you guys going to have the marketing rights next gen for Call of Duty?
I don't know. They haven't said anything on that. All things considering, realistically, it did really, really well on our system, but I don't know. Microsoft has deep pockets. They could probably throw out that kind of money in their direction too. Or, maybe Activision surprises everyone and just goes console neutral. Who knows? But they haven't. As of
yeah, we're talking about Activision. I don't see that happening.
Never happened.
But it really all depends. I think they saw the benefit of our partnership. I imagine PlayStation also saw the benefits of it, considering how many people we have playing on our system. Who knows? They haven't said yet. So,
yeah, and I wonder if that would be a game changer next generation. Let's say if Microsoft got the deal with Activision for Call of Duty next generation, like if that would turn the tide. I don't know. Who knows? But
it would definitely help with the casuals that don't even realize currently that Call of Duty comes out on Xbox. Like they just see the commercial that shows Call of Duty, and they see PlayStation, and they just think, they have this just like default thinking that it's only on PlayStation. That's why they said PlayStation after the commercial ended. And yeah, I see it not often, but I do see it often enough that I'm just like, there must be a sizable amount of people that have no idea that this game comes out on everything that's not Nintendo. So, yeah, it's I think it will definitely help with sales, at least in this area, in this region.
Yeah. All right, gentlemen, those are the topics for the night. I just want to give a big shout out to everyone in the live chat. I think we had about 140 something people watching. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. It means a lot to the Brat panel here. We appreciate your support. Remember, hit that like button And hell, if you want to hit the thumbs down, that's fine too. It doesn't hurt us. And if you're new to the show, subscribe. Hit that bell notification so you know when we go live. We always go live Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Want to do the outros real quick. Big shout out to the Mooch. Thank you, sir, for coming back to Brat, man. It was great having you on again. We got to get into some Warzone because, Final Fantasy VII comes out Friday.
I know. And, I ordered it. There was a promotion back in October. I want to say September of October of 2019. And shout out to Boomstick, Senor Boombastic. He knows about it too. We got it for $40. So I ordered it on Amazon. It is still arriving Friday. So, which it sounds great for all the folks that are not getting it because they got delayed. But there's a lot of people I know that already have it. There's already people that I know that are going to go get it tomorrow. I heard Best Buy is allowing people to go buy it tomorrow at 3 p.m.
I'm there.
Right? So check that out in your local stores. I'm going to wait till Friday.
I'm not leaving my house.
No, well, of course you're not, Enrique. Enrique's in a hazmat suit doing Brad. You guys have no idea. You know what I mean? He's wearing gloves on his keyboard. Listen, I think that I'm very excited for Friday to get here for more than just Final Fantasy. Crossfire, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, the Mooch 78 on YouTube. Please do go check it out if you're not already subscribed. But I'll be honest with you, it's we got Warzone, Enrique. So I got Warzone from now because I beat Grounded level on The Last of Us. So I got that done. I beat Ori. Which was a phenomenal game. We didn't get into that tonight, but that was a great game. Beat that last night. And now Warzone into Final Fantasy. So it's going to be a great weekend for gaming, guys. I got to be honest with you. What a time to be quarantined, huh?
Yeah.
Right. So let's look at the positive side. That being said, no, go ahead, buddy. Go ahead.
That's it. We got to hit that backlog now. It's a perfect time to do it.
It is. This is exactly my point. Like, there's a lot of games that we've had sitting there waiting to go. And my next one after, Final Fantasy VII, I'll be doing in conjunction with Doom Eternal. So that being said, guys, outstanding show. Awesome show. Hell of a show. So many great people in the chat. Great panel assembled. Enrique, thanks for having me on the show. And I can't wait to be on again, buddy. Thank you.
Yeah. No, absolutely, man. It's always a pleasure having you on. It's funny. I do want to talk about Inside Xbox. We didn't get to that. Maybe we can talk about that next week. But,
One important.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
That would have been a short segment.
And they didn't tell us much. And there you go.
Yeah, I think Mooch had an interesting observation of the guy talking about the Grounded beta. He looked
I got news for you, man. And let me tell you something. You should never have the lead engineer of anything do a sales pitch. That guy did not sell us on Grounded at all. But nonetheless, I think it showed better than it did the first time we saw it. But again, it's and I don't want to make the show run longer here, but it's going into game preview, folks. I thought this game was coming home for purchase. It's going into game preview. That means they haven't even there's so many problems with it probably still. And myself personally, if you look at games that have gone into game preview, games like, what is it there? I'm trying to think here. Compulsion Games made it. We Happy Few.
Yeah.
They generally don't come out great. They usually come out everybody plays it in game preview for a couple of weeks, and then they're just tired of helping the devs. And they're like, you know what, devs? You do it. You know what I mean? That's your job. I'm supposed to buy it and play it. I'm not supposed to buy it and help you. So, it's kind of game preview is fun to a certain extent. And then also with all the stuff we have going on right now where we're parents, we're teachers, we're professionals, we're podcasters, we're gamers, right? Does anybody have time to be a dev? No! So, personally, my advice
we got a whole ton of them day in, day out on Twitter.
Right? Yeah, well, we do. That is true. I'll be real with you guys. I think I just think it's funny how they're oh, come and help us. We're making Grounded. We can use your help. And I'm kind of you do it. So
when they give me the final product, when
the game's done, call me. But nonetheless, we all have Game Pass until 2027. So look, it is what it is. I think that the game showed a lot better. I think the game has potential, but I think game preview kind of kills it, to be honest with you. I think they should just hold it under wraps, work on the game, finesse it, and then sell it as a reasonable, polished product. And that's not what we're gonna get. And it leaves a bad impression in people's mouths. So yeah, I don't think you missed anything by skipping the Inside Xbox. I even on Crossfire, I think we'll do a 4-minute segment on it.
Yeah, so. I was actually watching and I'm like, Mooch, let's go on Warzone. Let's go on Warzone. And you're
I'm like, I'm watching Inside Xbox. He's like, Mooch, there's nothing happening. Can we please play Warzone? I'm like, can I just watch it? This is what we do. We have to talk about it. He's like, let's play Warzone. It went back and forth on DMs for about 20 minutes.
Yeah, because I tried watching it. I'm like, I can't do this anymore. I'd rather play Warzone. I just, It
was rough. It was definitely rough.
Yeah, but anyhow.
Awesome show, Enrique.
Yeah.
Awesome show.
Thank you again, Mooch. And, I want to give a big shout out to Chrono, our resident retail PlayStation rep. Thank you, man, for coming back on. Brat, man, we always love and enjoy having you on, man. Thank you. Thank you again, man.
Hey, thank you for having me. Thank you. It was considering I haven't really seen many people lately these last couple of weeks, being able to talk to people that isn't my dad who just discovered Amazon Prime for the first time, like he discovered it himself, like, oh my God, have you seen this? It's a good thing. So being able to talk games is good.
Yeah, speaking of Amazon, go ahead, man.
We got lucky because it just so happened that PlayStation did that controller reveal, so I actually had something to add to it. So
no doubt. It's funny about Amazon Prime. They're going to stop their Amazon shipping service in June now. Have you guys read that? They're gonna rely on FedEx and UPS now, as opposed to like the Amazon delivery service. Like their own, internal service. That's gonna cease in June or something like that. I read. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh man, right, Forte.
Yeah. What you trying to say?
Nothing at all. No.
So, all right.
But it has been great being able to play some games that have been sitting on my backlog. I finally finished Resident Evil 7, so that was good. So
awesome game.
That's a good one, man.
Yeah, awesome game. Did you guys see the Resident Evil 8 leak? That actually just leaked, I think, this week as well. I don't know how true it is, but we'll see. Slow-mo backslap, great seeing you, sir, man. I feel like I haven't I missed you. Dude, you weren't on last week, man. I missed you last week.
Yeah, man. Look, I mean, I was doing a lot of work. Working from home permanently is a little different than working from home every now and then, because then it's just like,
it's beautiful.
I mean, it is, and then because I get to just work in my boxers, but then like it's just
working your boxers.
Man. Yeah, man, just sitting at my desk.
You got to make an effort to actually get dressed. Because it's why wouldn't you stay in your box? You stay relaxed. You're home.
Exactly.
And the Balls Johnson dance.
But yeah, I mean, I've been playing my games though. I've been playing a lot of stuff that's single player. I actually have. There's a game that to start tonight called this one's called Bright Memory, and it's like it's a little indie game. That's shout out to someone, his name is Victor, that hit me up and told me, like, check this game out. It seems to be right down your alley. I'm always into like smaller games that have a lot of potential and stuff, and so the gameplay looked fire. So I'm like, I'm gonna try this out for a little bit, and then I also got to finish Resident Evil 3. Just try and get like as many games out of the way before Friday, because when Friday hits, it's just Final Fantasy and there's nothing else.
Yes, sir.
I'm not playing.
Oh my God! I just read that DM. All right, man. So, by the way, you guys need to check out Slow-Mo Backslaps. I can't talk. Slow-Mo Backslaps channel. He really puts out some great video content on games you probably haven't heard of or may not be on your radar. Please check out his channel on YouTube. So thank you, Slow-Mo. Great seeing you back on the show again, man.
No problem, bro.
Yeah, Gaming Forte, please let everyone know where they can find you, sir.
Oh, man, it's Gaming Forte on YouTube and Twitter, man. It's been a blast having my family together, all under one roof. Can't wait till next Wednesday. Can't wait till Friday to see what new stuff is going to happen over the next 2 days.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely, sir. Eric Jackson, who is in South Florida, where people are still partying despite lockdowns and the pandemic. Great seeing you, man. We missed you last week as well, buddy.
Always glad to be here. I don't know how you guys are feeling about the homeschool and stuff, but it's wild.
Oh, don't go there.
I told my daughter to death, I'm gonna write your ass a referral. You keep tripping. Get a write up.
You gotta send your ass to detention.
Man, that's the other thing that's been killing me. Working from home and then also trying to homeschool kids. Nah, man, yo, they need to open these schools back up ASAP.
Shout out and respect
stuff
and
out,
love
man.
your teachers, man. They deal. My wife is working harder now than when she's in the classroom.
Teachers are underpaid.
She is forever in front of her computer doing meetings and answering emails.
Wow.
Yeah. And then the teachers would, you guys, you've seen what you're getting from your teachers and stuff, man. It's crazy.
I know, man. I know. And then I got to run a daycare part time because I got an 18-month-old and a 3-year-old. So.
Oh man.
Yeah. So
B. Pulling the Kevin Hart like, y'all better not be in the toilet. You hear that noise? I know y'all not playing in that toilet.
Oh my god! Oh, shit! Hey, my 3-year-old's the ringleader, by the way.
Yeah, him downstairs.
Him downstairs. Him downstairs.
Get some milk and cookies.
Oh shit! That 3-year-old walked down the stairs bow-legged. All right,
rest in peace, Bernie Mac.
Yes, rest in peace.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, B Money, man. Let everyone. B Money, great seeing you as well, sir. Let everyone know they can find you, man.
Yeah, man. I'm same place every week, man. Right here, Wednesday nights, and then on Twitter, B Money 101, man. Follow me.
Yeah, awesome, man. Well, hey, gentlemen, thank you so much. Big shout out to everyone in the live chat. Ryan Later says all the couples stuck at home together. There's gonna be a lot more babies 9 months from now. That is the truth. That's one thing that's going down for sure during this pandemic. But everyone, please stay. I can't even talk. Please stay safe. We'll see you next week, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. On that note, we are out. Peace.
Peace out.
Peace.
Peace.
Peace.